on the edge of a dusty mining colony dominated by the relentless thunder of heavy extraction machinery. 12-year-old Daniel Mercer discovered that the universe was vastly larger than adults were willing to admit. The colony administration insisted the Red Plains were completely safe, a claim Daniel viewed with deep suspicion, considering they also claimed the cafeteria soup was nutritious. One evening, driven by unyielding curiosity, Daniel slipped past the residential boundaries carrying a flashlight, a half-empty water bottle, and the blind confidence of youth. He navigated past the decommissioned communication towers toward an abandoned survey station, drawn by a low, musical vibration echoing through its metallic walls. Inside the flickering emergency lights of the derelict hub, he encountered a girl. She possessed human features, but her long, elegant ears extended far beyond her dark hair. Her attire shimmered like liquid metal, and her silver-gray eyes were filled with exhaustion and fear. Her name was Lyra. She was not from Earth. She had crossed the stars while fleeing dangerous, armed pursuers. Instead of alerting colony security, Daniel hid her. For 3 days, he brought her food, blankets, and old portable music player. A quiet bond forged between them over shared stories, Lyra marveling at ordinary human things like rainfall and children's books, while Daniel listened in awe to tales of distant worlds. On the 3rd night, armored soldiers descended upon the station. To protect Daniel, Lyra activated a strange device that tore open a shimmering circular portal, revealing a field of stars. Before stepping through, she placed a dark metal necklace with a glowing crystal core into his hand. "If you ever need me, touch it," she whispered, vanishing into the light. Daniel had no idea the small object would remain hidden in his possession for 2 decades, nor did he suspect that touching it again would shatter the peaceful order of the galaxy. 20 years slipped by. At 32, Daniel lived a quiet, solitary life outside an old industrial city on Earth, running a workshop repairing obsolete spacecraft components. Life had buried impossible childhood memories beneath ordinary responsibilities. His family and friends had long written off his story as an imagination triggered by loneliness. During a rainy evening at his workbench, a faint metallic glint inside a long-forgotten drawer caught his attention. He pulled out the dark metal necklace. Despite 20 years of neglect, it didn't carry a single scratch. Smiling at the memory, he idly pressed the central crystal. Instantly, the workshop's power shut down. The rain outside seemed to freeze in complete silence. Above the floor, space distorted, expanding into a massive circular gateway of silver light. Through the portal stepped a regal woman clad in dark, shimmering battle armor. Her hair was longer and her face carried the faint lines of time, but those silver-gray eyes and distinct ears were unmistakable. "Lyra," Daniel stammered. "Daniel," Lyra whispered, stepping into his workshop. "I have been searching for you for 20 years. "Why?" Her expression hardened. "Because I need your help. The fate of the entire galaxy rests on you." Before Daniel could even begin to process Queen Lyra's words, a low, ominous vibration echoed through the air. Red and white surges of emergency light began pulsing inside the glowing portal. Lyra's ancient enemies, the Hatter, had breached Earth's orbital defense grid and were closing in rapidly. Daniel backed away, his voice shaking with confusion and panic. "Where have you been all these years, Lyra? What is going on?" Lyra glanced at the flashing data stream on her wrist display, speaking urgently. "My life hasn't known a single moment of peace since I left Earth. Shortly after I returned, my father, the High Sovereign of the Alliance, was assassinated by a ruthless, fanatical faction known as the Hatter. I spent 7 long years hiding across uncharted worlds, gathering loyalists and fighting a brutal civil war. Eventually, I reclaimed my father's throne and became queen. But the war never truly ended. Remnants of the Hatter vanished into the deep void, waiting for their chance to strike." Daniel looked down at the dark metal necklace pulsing softly in his hand, a mix of awe and dread rising in his chest. "And what does this have to do with all of that? This was never just a simple keepsake, was it?" Lyra stepped closer, her silver-gray eyes burning with absolute gravity. "This is no mere communicator, Daniel. It is the Quantum Prime Crystal, an artifact forged from the primordial heart of the cosmos. It wasn't just built to protect the royal bloodline. It is the master key required to unlock and permanently seal the most dangerous cosmic barrier in existence, the Void Gate. Daniel's mind reeled. He stared at the object in his hand, as if it had suddenly turned into a live grenade. What? For 20 years, I had the ultimate cosmic weapon sitting in my drawer underneath old tax documents. I thought it was just some high-tech alien jewelry. Beyond the Void Gate lies a realm of primordial, destructive dark energy, Lyra continued. If that gate is fully open, it will create a chain reaction black hole that won't just swallow my realm. It will consume Earth and every living star system in the galaxy. The Natter discovered I had hidden the key on Earth with a human. They didn't trace the signal just to kill me, Daniel. They came to claim the Prime Crystal and tear the Void Gate wide open. Before Lyra could finish her warning, the heavy reinforced roof and front entrance of Daniel's workshop exploded inward with a deafening blast. Splintered wood and twisted metal flew like shrapnel, shattering every glass pane in the building. Through the thick plume of smoke stepped 3 colossal Natter shock troopers. Their pitch-black armor hummed with pulsing blue energy circuits, and they raised heavy rifles charging with lethal violet plasma. Without hesitating for a fraction of a second, Lyra drew her sidearm. Moving with the lethal speed of a seasoned warrior, she rolled across the floor and fired a concentrated beam of white plasma straight into the lead commander's chest, blasting him backward to the ruined entryway. The remaining 2 troopers immediately turned their rifles directly toward Daniel. One of them locked his targeting reticle on Daniel's head and pulled the trigger. "Daniel, duck!" Lyra screamed. Daniel threw himself behind his heavy metal workbench. But as a searing violet blast tore through the air, the necklace in his palm flared violently. A brilliant, translucent blue energy barrier instantly expanded into a sphere around Daniel. The plasma blast slammed into the shield, absorbed its momentum, and reflected straight back at the shooter, vaporizing the trooper's weapon and blasting him off his feet. Daniel gasped, staring at the humming force field around him. What did it just do? Lyra grabbed the final trooper's arm, twisting the joint until the armor cracked, before disabling him with a point-blank shot. "It's the Prime Crystal," she shouted over the ringing alarms. "It bonded with your genetic signature 20 years ago. It recognizes you as its master and protector. It will not let you die." Outside, the night sky lit up with blinding red and blue atmospheric entries. Massive Natter dreadnoughts hovered above the clouds, releasing dozens of sleek assault dropships that descended upon the city streets. The heavy thud of metallic footsteps and screeching sirens filled the air. "We have minutes before they surround the entire block." Lyra grabbed Daniel by his jacket, pulling him to his feet. "We have to leave Earth right now." Daniel looked back at his ruined workshop, the shattered remnants of his quiet 20-year life, and the home he had built. He bolted toward the back corner of his workshop, grabbing a heavy, vintage metal toolbox. Lyra stared at him in utter disbelief. "We are fleeing an armada of interstellar warlords. An ancient cosmic apocalypse is brewing, and you stop to grab a box of screwdrivers. These tools are heavy-duty, forged steel, and ridiculously expensive, Your Majesty. I am not leaving them behind to get vaporized." Daniel yelled back. Despite the chaos, a genuine, sudden laugh escaped Lyra's lips. A barrage of plasma fire chewed through the exterior walls. The two sprinted out into the street as Lyra tapped her wrist controller. Materializing out of thin air, a sleek, silver stealth craft uncloaked above the pavement. Shielded by the crystal's defensive aura, they braved the incoming fire, scrambled up the hatch, and sealed the blast doors shut. The ship's engines roared, breaking through Earth's atmosphere in a fraction of a second and plunging into the black abyss of space. Earth quickly shrank into a fragile blue marble behind them, while the ship's tactical sensors highlighted dozens of Natter Scout vessels breaking orbit to give chase. Inside the cockpit, the quantum prime crystal slipped from Daniel's palm and hovered in midair, casting a sweeping 3D holographic star map across the room. Millions of star systems, nexus routes, and ancient gateways flickered into view. At the absolute center of the map, a massive, jagged red room began to pulse violently. Lyra's face drained of all color. "No, this can't be." "What is it, Lyra? What does that red signal mean?" Daniel asked, leaning closer to the hologram. "The Natter aren't waiting for the key," Lyra whispered, horror lacing her voice. They've already begun forcibly bombarding the Void Gate's outer containment seals with dark matter siege cannons. If they breach even a fraction of the outer shell before we arrive to lock it down with a prime crystal, the resulting singularity will cascade across space and erase every living world. Daniel looked down at the glowing crystal in his hand, then reached into his toolbox and pulled out a heavy steel wrench. A stubborn, defiant grin slowly replaced the panic on his face. Lyra looked at him, puzzled. "Why are you smiling, Daniel?" 20 years ago, Daniel said, taking a deep breath and tightening his grip on the wrench, "I spent 3 straight days fixing an impossible engine that a certified technician said was scrap metal, all because I refused to read their instruction manual. Today, I don't have a manual for saving the universe either, but I have this toolbox, I have this crystal, and I have you." Lyra looked into his eyes, a fierce smile breaking across her face as she grasped his hand. "Then are you ready to fight for a kingdom, Daniel Mercer?" "Let's go fix the universe, Your Majesty." Daniel locked the crystal into the main console, and Lyra slammed the hyperdrive lever forward. The stealth ship warped the fabric of space, accelerating into the light streams of hyperspace toward the ultimate battle at the edge of the cosmos.